to another episode of the Doomsayers. I am your humble MC for these preceding evenings. But before we get into all that good stuff, I think we need to understand who is exactly here with us. So, starting off, Kai, please introduce yourself and who you're playing.
Hi everyone, I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns, and I am back playing Not At All a Problem, Merrick, also known as Patroclus, who uses he, him pronouns. And everything's great. He's about to get what he wants, so that's all good. Calamity?
Yeah, everything's totally fine and normal and great. Hi, I'm Calamity. My pronouns are she, they, and I'm going to be playing Mallory today, who just wants to hold her little one. I'm not even gonna lie. She just wants a little baby on her hip. How about you, Val?
Hello everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he him his pronouns, and tonight I have the distinct pleasure of playing Hector, as in Prince Hector, as in Hector of Troy, breaker of horses. And he's doing pretty good as well. He's very excited to hold his little one soon, and his beloved wife. And we're so close. We're so very close, aren't we, Chris?
We're so close. It's like I'm there. I can feel you. Hello, my name is Chris, and I will be, as I said before, your MC for these preceding evenings. With that in mind, in case you missed those bad boys, a bit of content warnings for this episode in particular. Starting off, if you type in the chat !DoomCW, you can find all the lovely content warnings for this series. In particular, we got fantasy and gun violence, apocalypse, romance and references to sexual entanglements, monstrous and monstrosities, severe weather, blood, real-world religions, familial struggles, trauma, McCarthyism, mind and memory manipulation, depictions of kidnapping, crime, supernatural mythological elements, men murder, and suicidal idealization. If any of these do not float your boat, there's a plethora of wonderful content out there for you to enjoy. And if you want to follow me or any of the lovely people we got here, you can type !Doomcast to see where we're on the internet while it's still alive. With all that out the way, I think it's time we start our show. So without further ado, let's get to that intro, shall we? We'll be right back. with that, we return back on our sounds of the jukebox playing in the background there, as it is another bright, early, and fantastic morning in the city of New Promethea. We find ourselves in a lovely diner, chrome flashing off of the morning sunlight, red leather seats, some worn, some new, and a bunch of people going about getting coffee or whatever they can get, with a neon sign saying best bagels in town light up in the corner. As we go around, swooshing through as it is still freezing cold, but at least the heat works inside, we find ourselves at a booth with our three lovely Doomsayers enjoying a good morning, or maybe lunch, depending on how they're feeling, meal. For my curiosity's sakes, Doomsayers, what are we eating here? What do we order? It's a diner. You can get pretty much anything. So what are we getting here?
Breakfast special. Eggs over medium. Bacon. Side of bacon. Hot sauce. Coffee. Black. And a flask in hand. And at least 3 cigarettes already in the ashtray.
Breakfast of champions.
3 cigarettes.
Come on.
Ashtray. It's breakfast
For my
already.
Yeah.
My other,
Cigarettes are breakfast.
my other lovely two Doomsayers, what about you? What are you eating?
Mallory has a stack of 4 pancakes, I would say. Butter, syrup, drenched in both. Side of eggs, side of bacon, and is slowly feeding, like putting small bits of all of the above on the tray of the baby seat next to her, where Enid will be just
He's right. It's for
putting
my
it as close to its mouth as possible.
He's very much just
Hector has lots of eggs, also over medium. Lots of eggs, lots of bacon, lots of bread. This man's not missing the three main food groups of carbs and protein.
I'm sorry, 2 different forms of protein.
Don't
yeah.
worry about it. Yeah, it's 2 different forms, so it counts as 3. There is a little sort of like side salad that he's got going on. For the fiber, obviously, with a glass of warm water, which he had specifically asked for from the wait staff for warm water. This body is already giving him trouble. He needs to protect it, clearly. The body is a temple.
body is a temple. And with it, for my other two lovely here, you get to see Mallory's kid for the first. You know, it's a cute little scoundrel of a lad. Again, probably within toddler years, so not really maybe in that state of maybe just past terrible twos, or is that the back end of it really? And they seem fine. You can see the resemblance between them. You know, he's got mom's nose, and the hair is kind of very much still that baby shave, as he's just eating away, really not caring too much about the world around him.
Merrick has spent only the mandatory amount of time even looking at the baby. And has done everything in his power to avoid being near the baby with like visible discomfort.
In stark contrast, Hector has, in the moments that he's not quickly shoveling food into his mouth, he is eyeing the small child with, I don't know, some sort of bittersweet feeling. And every time this little lad makes a funny face or eats really fast, there are moments where he also makes faces at the little baby, like, and reaches out like a little finger towards like maybe a bacon that he's about to eat, trying to like playfully steal it away from his plate. before obviously giving it back, just trying to make fun with this young child that's clearly enchanted Hector. And I think, Valerie, yeah, you see a different side of Hector. This man who's been carrying a shield, pulling a spear from his throat, murdering all sorts of people, um, is a very familiar look, I think, to you. The look of a father, enchanted by a little child.
In your mouth. In your mouth. Nope. Nowhere else. In your mouth. Thank you. Yep. There we go.
They're always like that.
Always. Too curious for their own damn good.
My own son would play around with olives. Maybe we were trying to get him to eat solid foods. Would end up pressing it between his fingers, staining it. The olives nowadays don't stain your fingers as much as the ones in my time, but that's what he would do. The room would smell like olives for the rest of the day.
If it's squishable, it's gonna get squished.
It's squishable, it will get squished. Isn't that right? And he like lowers himself towards this little kid and smiles before handing like a piece of bacon over to him and just says, "You need it. Grow. Big. Strong."
With
Really
that,
anything.
yeah, with that playing around with the kid, you guys, you've done it. You found the murderer. You are literally a calls away from being done. Though you do have some secrets of your own, but you've done it. And I think you all notice among yourselves that this may be the last time you see each other for the most part.
So how long do you think it's gonna take for them to fucking call us?
You know the gods as well as I do.
They do things on their own time.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Their own sweet time. I'm sure they're probably looking for some other way to add one last task. Squeeze every last use out of us. So it's
Well,
best that we be prepared in the
You
event.
and I have places to go, people to see.
We do.
What about you, Mallory? And Merrick does actually look at the baby for a minute before looking back at her.
Good. I was thinking about that. I guess some part of me just wanted to get through it and didn't really think too hard about what would happen once we did. I just wanted to get back to this one. He kind of nods over to Enan.
He's lucky.
Extremely blessed. And I think there's a dawning in Hector's mind of this is probably it. He will go his own way. He'll probably never see these two ever again. Nor Mallory or darling son. And I think he looks over to you, Mallory, and he asks, "May I give an old blessing?"
Oh, sure. We'll need it.
And he looks over to your son and smiles and says, "You're strong. I see it in your face. You are both mother and father. I see it. Look at you." But there it is, in your eyes. No, those are your mother's eyes. Fierce, determined, will made manifest. And you carry that with you. Always remember that. May your spear be true. May your shield never buckle. May your horses carry you swiftly. And may you always remember that your mother and father are right there with you, that they love you so dearly, and that your courage be just like your mother's. For you will know in toughest times and darkest shadows that her light will carry you through forever. And then I think he, like, in typical, like, uncle fashion, like, takes a little bit of Enid's cheek in his little, between his two fingers, squishes lovingly before sitting back and taking a sip of his warm water.
You do notice your wife appears and very much gives you a look of disgust before disappearing back again. But as you guys are talking and going about, you do get a quick glimpse of the local news station popping up. The gist of it, of what it appears that the tale they've spun, is that, Apollo has been arrested for corruption and possibly murder charge. That's what they're telling the mortals. All his assets have been seized, and associates that have worked for him are currently either detained or on the run. So they do have like a number of like pictures going on of, if you've seen anyone, please contact your local station. And you do see Ricky's face does pop up there from one of the pictures taken by. But for the most part, you notice that one of the reporters is very much of, well, that happened last night. Tonight, folks, it's going to be a different story, as today is the funeral for the late Mayor Fuhrer and one of the city's best, if not brightest, entrepreneurs and philanthropists, Inku. Their ceremony will be held here in City Hall later today, so it's going to be a big folks, and already protesters over the recent news have already begun to set up signs and shop on the side, though security says they should be no problem. And as that kind of dies away, you see cutting into the frame, almost like somebody is like, hey, excuse me, I was watching that. You see Joe pop in and kind of go, hey, they ready for you upstairs.
Good. Let me just, and he quickly shovels the last dredges of food into his mouth, wipes his hands and mouth with the napkin, stands up. It's time.
Merrick, who was so eager, has pinned himself in the corner of the booth and stopped eating the moment that Hector started giving that blessing, and almost is shocked back to reality when Hector stands up. Yeah. Let's go.
I've got the babysitter on dial, but is he allowed with us? And
Yeah,
gestures
sure, I can
to-
take care of him while you go in the meeting if you want me to.
Oh, that'd be perfect. He's not too much of a handful as long as he's strapped down. And she'll, wipe off her mouth and
And with that, sort of is very much almost like a very like a spider just like attaches to him. It's like the child very much grabs onto him and he's like, oh, hey, he's got a grip. Okay.
yeah, watch out for that. He has bruised me before.
Let's get up there, guys. And with that, pay off, and you head upstairs. You find yourself in the elevator once more. Bing! But as it opens up, you see there is a round of applause for you. You see the various security guards and sort of the tactical security division of this place. They're all clapping for you after last night's events. You saved their boys and, whatnot, when they were in the heat of it, the thick of it, and you brought down the person who brought down, killed one of their own. So very much, you get a bit of a round of applause. A couple of pats on the backs. It's a very celebratory moment as you guys kind of walk through, and to be honest, feel like a hero. They sort of guide you through, and as they sort of duck you away from the crowd, leaving you three, you find yourself at the precipice of the hall, though a meeting is going on. and is just ending at this moment. As you see coming out the front door is Katrina, or Catherine, whatever you want to pronounce it as. It's kind of coming out. This was Apollo's wife, though as you see they're coming out, they seem to be a little bit more happy in this instance. Papers in hands that you can clearly see are divorce papers, and they kind of go, "Oh, hello.
Hey. How'd it go?
I am finally a free woman."
Congratulations.
Thank you. Not only did I get divorce of him, I get out. So I am splendid and glad to do so.
Hector looks
Good to hear.
confused but nods anyway.
I get the legal half, not the illegal half. Though I very much would love the money. Well, the tribunal are seizing his assets and are divvying it up. As they always do, like vultures. They are doing their best.
Well, that's good. Everything's proceeding as planned, as necessary. Yes.
Indeed, yes. I never thought I would be free. And I guess if I was to thank anyone, thank you all. You didn't have to help me, but you did. And now I am a witch woman because of you. So, if you ever need anything, feel free to call.
Might take you up on that. Also, if you ever need any extra help with your divine portents, you know where to find me.
Ah, yes. It's not working still, which is kind of weird, but probably just me getting over it. Yeah,
Thank you for your kindness, Lady Catherine.
What are you gonna do now?
Oh, well, there is a lovely spot in the Bahamas that has been calling my name. I am going to get my best revenge dress I can possibly get. And I am going to go somewhere warm and not full of criminals. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have a little vacation.
You're going to the Bahamas to avoid criminal? Anyways, it's fine.
It's different kind of criminals, okay? That's not... They're mortals. I can deal with mortals, okay? I can't deal
Sure.
with divine criminals. Different story.
Once again, Hector is intaking all these unfamiliar words like Bahamas and revenge dress, and is attempting to compute it, but nods with very little understanding, but with great politeness, great princely politeness.
Well, enjoy yourself, folks. I am going to head off. I'll see you at the funeral.
See ya.
Yeah. See you there.
Save your spot. As you see, they kind of walk away, go off into the corner. At that point, Joe, behind you. All right, you guys are good to go. I think the tribunal is ready to see you guys.
Let's go.
Right. Hector looks at Mallory's child one more time. He's like, "Be good," before he marches up.
Fantastic. With it, you guys all begin to walk in the familiar dome-like judge room that these guys have here. You see they've taken the time now to dismantle Freya's post and have just making it as plain as possible, without any of the distinct markers of who this seat belongs to. And at this moment, this place looks more like a chaotic office mess than anything resembling that divine hall you saw before. And partly is because you can see there's a number of things. You see there's like mountains of paperwork and files that they've gone through. And you can see also behind them is a large map of the city that is gerrymandered into various sections belonging to each of the pantheon. The ones that are still around on the council, kind of dignifying where exactly does my territory start and where does yours start so we don't intersect with each other. And you can see that at the moment, there is this sort of large empty spot that is in between the late member Freyr's spot, but also where Apollo's section is also a sort of a gray spot in which seems to be coloring in ever so slowly as they seem to be divoting it up between one another. But as you sort of enter in, Deuce sees you all and goes, "Ah, if it isn't the heroes at this lovely hour," as you see they're very much in their work attire, but sleeves rolled up, hair a little bit of a mess, as they have been here quite some time, which you can see the other ones have that sort of same moniker as well. Do
You
come
ready
in.
to pay up?
Well, we wanted to discuss that with you all. As you can tell, since finding out my son was the murderer, we have been doing our divine responsibility. But first and foremost, congratulations to all of you for upholding your end of the bargain and for making this place a little bit easier to sleep in. You see this sort of a slight round of applause. Thoth kind of goes, "Here, here." Well, yes, we just had a talk up with Coach Catherine and out there, and we just wanted to clear some things up, crossing out the I's and T's, as we always do. We already have your pardons drawn up for you to go to the territories in which you are planning to go to. Criminals have been rounded up, so we can cover that there. But with the murder being solved, we do have one more task for you, as we are a bit busy here, trying to do all the administrative work that comes with our line of work. So just one last request, should be quick and easy, done in no time. Plus your paperwork for your prospective needs should be all done at that point, so it's a win-win.
Task. What sort of task?
Shower kind of goes, "Well, as you know, the funeral is approaching. Sadly, we are stuck in the bureaucracy of trying to maintain and fix what Apollo did. So, most of us are not able to attend. It would look bad if no one from the tribunal went. So, we are sending our lovely member Thoth." You see Thoth kind of, "Hi," to represent us, and you will also represent us in tow and act as a security. We don't want another god dying on.
Yeah, that would look bad.
Indeed. Simply go around, shake a couple hands, kiss a baby, no pun intended. And simply attend the funeral. Plus, it is also Inku's funerals as well, so we do think you probably want to say goodbye to them before they are buried in the ground.
We were going
We
to be
do
there
this,
anyway.
and then you give us what we asked for.
Morgan pipes up.
Quickly.
I will give you what you want, but just play the game for just a little bit longer and you'll have everything you ever wanted in your life.
Mm.
Is there a problem, Marek?
Hector steps forward as soon as he sees Marek pull out that toothpick. Hector steps forward, forearm lowered in front of Marek. We're saying, "No problem at all. We do this favor for you, sure. And the paperwork shall be done when we return. Yes?"
It should be done right quick.
Then there are no complaints from us. Right? And his right eye looks directly behind towards Marek.
Cigarette smoke out of his nose, out of his mouth, as he just puts the cigarette back in his mouth and has taken a very deep breath in and lets it out just as you turn to look back at him, and it is taking all of his willpower to say through gritted teeth, "Everything's..."
"Thank you, Patroclus," he says quietly towards you in a whisper, for letting out an exhale. What is the protocol?
Dove kind of goes, "Well, it's quite simple. Uh, we'll head over to my office. Gotta cover a couple things. Got a lovely speech prepared for today. We'll grab out of the office and prep for the funeral. We just head downtown. I got a number of cars there. You'll act as security and also mingle around. It's just a funeral, so if you want to come inside, guess you have to. As long as you keep me safe, and everything should be good. So everything should be fine.
No harm will befall you. Focus on your speech.
Thank you. I don't think there's anything else. Zeus kind of goes, not to my knowledge. Thank you very much, Doomsayers. It will be a pity to lose such effective workers. Just if you do want to stay on long term, we'll be more than happy to extend you a contract, maybe benefits. We can discuss that at a later time. For now, we must get back to our hard work. Thoth will go with you to his library, his office, and don't enjoy your night. Find peace. Night.
Merrick turns on his heel immediately. The moment there's permission to leave, he's leaving this room.
Hector also leaves. Following Toth, mostly because we have to go to Toth's office.
Yeah, going wherever we're supposed to go, but you can tell that he is just like radiating with rage.
You knew this wouldn't be straightforward, right?
I have done their fucking bidding for too long.
We all have. We do this quick, quietly, with no complaints. Hopefully, this will be the end of it.
We were going anyway. So.
You were going anyway.
With that, proceed off to the office leading in the front, but as you get to one of the crossways, you notice this point an elevator coming up, and you see in chains in tow being pushed forward is Apollo and Artemis as they give a quick look at all of you as they're being escorted into the prisoner transport that must be out. As you see they're kind of in chains going, well, if it isn't the frickin' screw-ups. He had a gloat.
Keep walking.
You think you solved this case, don't ya? You think you got everything figured out?
We've done our duty. What are you
Done
implying?
duty. I'm just saying, and you see someone go, hey, knock it off. You're gonna burn.
Have a nice time in Ironport.
You're all gonna burn! As Apollo's doing that, Artemis does give you a look, Merrick, and does say thank you, mouthing it before they're pushed off as well.
Merrick gives a silent, microscopic nod.
Dove kind of goes, I'm so sorry for that. Being transported to Ironport today. Follow me. This is my office. As he kind of pulls out the library. You see that originally when you came in there wasn't a desk, but you see rising from the ground. Coming off is his desk, and you can see that among the collection there seems to be a little bit of a maybe secret collection that specifically he has tucked away in various sections of his circular desk that goes all about the room. There's a number of papers and whatnot on it, and primarily from what you can see are just documents from Apollo's vault, sketches and whatnot of the design, and various other notes that he's made for himself that are all on stickies. As he goes, I'm just gonna grab a couple things here. My speech is here somewhere. I'm a freaking mess. Give me a sec.
Take your time. We'll be here.
Thank you.
Hector's gonna take this little moment that Toth is shuffling about looking for the speech to look at the other two. What was all that about?
Which part?
The God of Light is a lot of things. pulling people into blatant falsehoods isn't necessarily one of them.
He's a deceptive asshole. I don't really fucking care what he thinks he has. He's going to the worst place in the fucking world.
Typically, I'd agree with you. However, between the concerns of the gods and our sudden need for an escort, I'm a little more suspicious.
I'm concerned they're remnants within Apollo's own forces.
So what, we're gonna care what happens to these gods now? Or do you want your family? Do you want your safe passage with your kid? All I fucking want is to know where Achilles is.
We
I'm
don't,
walking.
Patroclus, we don't get what we want if anything happens to Toth.
So we stick by them.
Eyes up then. One funeral. That's all it takes. And say goodbye to
I
an
like
old friend.
This point, Thoth kind of goes, all right, got it. Sorry. This thing is a son of a bitch to get open. And you see he kind of goes over to the corner and you see he kind of smacks the cryopod that you guys found in the vault. I still haven't opened the damn thing, but it's whatever. I'll find an answer later. All right. I locked up, and you see this sort of stand begins to go back down into the ground. Let's go. Gonna be a full day.
Right.
Oh, good.
Yes. And he's kind of going down, getting in the elevator. Kind of continues talking. So yes. Pretty simple. One entrance. A couple exits. Security has worked out in case if anything happens. We head for the kitchen and exit out that way. As the front entrance is probably not going to be good for populated people and whatnot. So, it's your standard detail stuff, really. So no real things to worry about. So, any questions, comments, concerns?
If an exit needs the kitchen, I think would be good for there.
Yeah.
Just like by us, I think. The closer we are together, the easier for us to keep an eye on you.
Oh, it might be a little bit hard. I'm a mingler. I like to go around, shake hands. I have to put the best face forward for the group. The tribunal. We
Yeah, since they decided to just send you by yourself.
I am a god of knowledge. I know most about everyone in this city. Knowledge isn't just for knowledge's sake. It's also good for socialite information.
Yeah, we'll just stay near.
Well, I know how to keep close. All right.
Good. Oh, Mallory, your son. I don't know if you want to leave him here or take him with you. I don't know what your...
The plan was to take him with me, but I think considering I now have a job to do, I'll call the babysitter.
No problem. We can leave him with Joe. I mean, I'm saying maybe 2 hours tops is the funeral.
If Joe wants to hang on to him, then sure.
Yeah, let Joe do it. He loves kids, Was a
I'm
big
not paying him,
brother.
though.
Both Marek and Hector make a face.
Yeah.
Yeah, you calm down. He lost a lot. He's a good kid.
Hector looks to Mallory. Are you comfortable? Whatever you say goes. If we need to take a detour now to find you a babysitter, we can.
No, it doesn't really matter who, just someone, so he doesn't get into anything bad. He'll be fine.
Your baby's not divine, right? They're not demigod. They're just normal from what we understand.
Just a normal kid.
Then we should be fine. He's not gonna. There's little divine protections up there that would stop a god from coming in and causing ruckus. If it can stop a god, it can stop a mortal. So you should be good.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
Right. And you see kind of pulling up black SUV comes around a corner with it's like a little convoy, two in front, protecting the priority in the middle. All right, I'm gonna be in the middle SUV here. You can join me, or if you guys want to take one at the front or back, feel free to do so. But let's get going, gang. Wait.
I'll ride along.
Test.
I think in this instance, I agree. And you can see that Hector looks. He says that, but you can see that he's like gripping onto his hands. He misses his own horse.
Your horse is in the shop. The horse is
horse
not
is in-
dead, folks. I
The
know
horse
that
is
it's
not
concerned.
dead. The
They're
horse
in
is
the
The
shop.
horse was already dead, y'all.
It was already dead, but it's not dead. So don't worry, that horse is kicking and breathing. But sadly, don't have him with you.
No. He'll
I
sit
think
in.
seeing Hector's kind of like maybe just a glimpse of how out of sorts this might be. A very like sudden just like pat on the shoulder and a little squeeze.
Mm.
Less than a day. Come on.
Less than a day. Let's go.
With you all proceed to get into the vehicles, and it begins to rain. It's always that funny thing about funerals. Whenever there is a funeral, it always seems to rain. And as you do, you drive through the city, going more downtown, if anything. And for a moment, you admire the look of it. You found the murderer. The city is back on track, and its citizens has turned its sights on a bright future. But those who died can be remembered fondly. As the sun set and the pinkish hues begin to fall. As you do have to do a couple things before you get here. Get clothes, grab a quick bite. About late afternoon as you get the thoughts of your life and the peace will soon turn the corner and begin to fade. As the car begins to pull up to City Hall, the old building where the mayor had done most of their work for the city. It is the same place where a funeral is now being held. In the distance, you can see the flags of not only Freyr, but also Inku's faces that wave in the wind. Flashes of paparazzis and news network echo the city street that has been cut off. As you see a number of officers have to open up the barricade, let you in, and then very much slowly driving to avoid the mass amount of people that are here. Soon, you pull up. One of the security guards opens the doors, and the muffled sounds of those loud cameras and shouting people begin to fill the air. As you are overwhelmed by the spotlight that is now on you. Coming out, you can see that on one side there's paparazzi taking pics, glamour shots, and all of that they can of this event, as it is historical indeed. Someone will pay top dollar. But on the other side, there are protests. Shouting and waving signs, primarily of the message of justice for who? From what you can maybe gather, maybe this has to do with the fact that if Apollo's been arrested, that means the Olympia Fund is a sham, maybe, and people have been on top of the class disparity of the time. You know, these two people, they get this fancy smashy, funeral. Who's paying for this? I'm not paying for that. Are you paying for that? How are you going to do this whole event while people are starving and homeless in the street? Is the main thing you got. People shout on the other side. This point, what are you guys doing? As you see, Dolph is trying to make his way up. You see these people trying to get a microphone to you, just trying to ask you questions and trying to, ask anything they can possibly.
Hector's doing his job. He is being a beefy frontline man. And while he's acting as essentially a wall between Toth and a lot of these honestly understandably curious reporters with everything that's happening, he's putting on that face. The Prince of Hector is here. And he says very calmly, without any fear whatsoever, "The Seas Tribunal will speak soon. Toth will have a message for all who are attending. Please be patient until then." Sorry, excuse me. Please be patient until Toth has his message later on. Thank you. Excuse me.
As you see everybody's trying to get questions, like, who are you? What are you doing here? Do you know what happened? Were you there at the event?
No questions now, please. Thank you. Thank you. Excuse me.
My other two members, what are you doing?
Under his breath, looking at the protesters, kind of being a backline spotter, trying to keep eyes where Hector's in the front, Merrick is in the back, head on a swivel, but keeps on stalling at the protesters. At that sick feeling of the stories of gods coming and going from Ironport. That hard, sick threat, and then the vision on the wall. Gods to whom? He mutters that under his breath as he's just thinking and looking for any bad actors in the crowd.
You want to roll for it, or are you just
Let him
do
roll
it.
for it.
Let's roll for it.
Let him roll for it.
Let him roll for it. Let the kid
Sure.
roll. Let the kid roll.
Let
the
them
kid
roll.
Let's see here. We're gonna roll. I'm gonna do carrion dog, diplomatic negotiator, and I'm gonna say that that's probably it.
Can you please do a -1 for me for
What?
incomplete without him? I feel it's.
Oh yeah, sure.
I think this is a great spot for that.
So that is a 6 total.
6 total.
Oh, yikes.
Nothing off of that there. You're kind of going through, but as you see justice for who, you do see like somebody throws something in your direction that sort of
Fuck.
splats across, and you go to hell.
Fuck off.
New Promethea, what a city, huh? As you kind of wipe it off.
He literally untucks that shirt that does not fit him that he is now wearing that makes him look both like a bodyguard and like he's attending a funeral, or maybe he's going to go be a waiter. And he untucks it and just uses the bottom to like fully wipe it up, so you see just like his undershirt and all the layers underneath as he's like wiping it.
And last but not least, Mallory, what are you doing? As everybody's kind of clamoring, and you just see that just dodged a point here of Merrick having to get themselves up.
Yeah, I think Mallory's also keeping an eye out, but mostly sticking next to him, I think, and kind of keeping an arm up against anyone who tries to kind of like get to the side of him, like behind Hector or something. Um, so that's where she'll kind of like remain, and I think she has like a general eye out. I don't know if it's like a role kind of eye out, but she is kind of like making sure nobody comes up and like does anything weird.
And I think as you're going through, everybody for the most part, you get through no problem. Mallory, as you're getting up very much at the tail end of this, you see on one of the nearby pillars, smoking, with a suit now at this point, not any of that punk swagger he's got. Orpheus is there, smoking at the moment, half dead still with that face that is almost zombie-like in nature, gone, and looking your direction. Without saying anything, kind of begins to enter inside as you can feel it in your chest that he's here for you, not the funeral.
She'll sort of meet eyes with him, and while she knows it, she knows like he's here to see her, she immediately looks away and just kind of like even more hard focuses on what she's there for.
With you all proceed inside. You hear the sounds of organs and choirs being sung as to provide ambience to this funeral. Entering inside City Hall is a bit confusing for you, as this is a place where governance happens, but yet the inside of it is a mixture of Gothic and Art Deco design that makes the place feel more like a modern church than a building of civic government. Along the tops of the ceilings are various statues of gargoyles, just statues, nothing animated here, looking down on the citizens as almost of an artistic point of view. But there is a second floor, on top of the floor you're entering it, that has even more guests and security talking and mingling about. In the distance, you do see the two closed caskets with a set of flowers and pictures of not only the late mayor, but also of your late. As you see, the room itself is packed to the brim. Going through, Dove kind of goes off to the side. Huh, fantastic. I already see a couple of kelp I have to speak with. Please do your mingle. I'll be over there in that general direction. So, if you need anything specifically from me, I have my radio on. And you can hear the radio of the security too. And he goes, check, check. You see other guys go, check, 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 check. So, we're on communication. I would say enjoy yourself, but that seems kind of mute. Please just do you. As you see, begins to walk away and kind of goes, my friends, and kind of greets them. Very much political mode now, shaking hands, doing what he needs.
Right. It's gonna be a long day.
I miss Greek funeral.
Do you know?
Yeah, we had games. It was fun. It was a celebration. This is stifling.
You're right about that. I've been at too many funerals.
Yeah.
Well, I can go and see if they have drinks and such. How are you two doing, Valerie?
Fine. I do want to go up at one point, but
Okay.
probably grab a drink after.
You all right?
Yeah. This is pretty standard for me.
Oh, yeah.
It's more so everything that's happened before. I've never been quite this involved. I usually just make them look like they're sleeping.
Do you remember? In those caskets are nothing but charred corpses. Hence why it's
There's a strange feeling, not only knowing that they're charred corpses, but that almost painful, shocking moment of pulling a burning thread. Remembering what Katerina said. Thinking through all of the strange ways that fate isn't working the way it used to. And then he tries to shove it down in a tiny box because he doesn't care, because all he wants is Achilles. And he kind of straightens himself up. I'm going to go follow our brown noser.
All right. I'll
Have
watch
fun.
your 6 this time.
All right.
You all disperse. We'll do one last conversation here before we go on. As Orpheus comes over sauntily over to you, Mallory. Mallory, where are you hanging out in this area here? Are you taking a seat? Are you kind of just watching out? What are you doing?
She goes up to where the caskets are and kind of like lingers more towards Inku's. Just sort of, there's nothing to see really, but just kind of like being there and taking that moment to kind of like mentally kind of say goodbye. I think she mutters, "You can rest in peace, friend. You didn't deserve that."
Orpheus comes over. You know better than to ask for peace from a god. Cigarette?
No, I don't smoke anymore.
With the line of work
Bad
you're
for
in,
you.
I'm surprised you don't do it more.
You see what it does to people. She kind of just like looks up at his face for a second before looking back at the casket.
I
Didn't know
love
you
them.
knew the departed?
Yeah. They tried to console me after I lost my love.
What do you want?
We had a conversation, Mal. Now that your little job is over, you're not protected anymore, which means you know what time.
Time for all of you to leave me the hell alone.
It's not that simple. No one's sitting the throne. If you're not
Sound
gonna,
like your damn self.
can't. A little trick your dad did, only that is line. Until his line perishes, can't be a new person of noob. Unless you want me to go and take a field trip over to your place and do something in the Greek tragedy map. Suggest.
You know what it's like down there. And maybe that's your scene now. Maybe you don't really belong anywhere else. I am not subjecting my child to that burden.
You
He
understand
deserves his own life.
your interpretation of the underworld comes as a citizen, not its queen or whatever you call it. While it may seem insufferable, you, the person who rules it, shape it. So unless your son's gonna be turned out to a maniacal dick, think we'll be okay. Comes over and rules. And this is your last
Do
warning.
you all hear yourselves? You are asking me to give my child the underworld.
You make it sound
I
like
am just a person. I have made that very clear. And that is all I want you to be.
gives a slight chuckle. Clearly you don't read Greek tales, hell fairy tales for that instance. You know many children are given up, lost, find themselves somewhere they never wanted to be. Not a special case. You're a statist.
This ain't a Greek tale. This is New Prometheus. And I get to choose my life. And Ear will get to choose his.
So, kind of burns out the cigarette on the casket. Is that a no?
I think it's time you get back to where you belong.
enjoying a funeral, Mallory. Be the last when you see he begins to strode off and walk out of the building.
She'll wipe off where he put out the cigarette.
As you ponder on that, we're gonna go for a quick break here, folks. With that, we're gonna take a quick break here. So use a baño, grab yourself a snack, and we'll be right back, folks. We'll see you soon. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. With that in mind, let's get back to this funeral, folks. As we turn the camera, Hector, we are following you. Thoth is kind of making his rounds at the moment, shaking hands, laughing, whether it be real or fake. And at this moment, you find yourself admiring a quite fantastic looking set of statues. They seem to be these sort of almost like if they're old, if like iron's in the ocean, the way it kind of curls up or kind of erodes a bit, of these Greek looking figures with helmets that are like uh not necessarily there's no fur on them, but they're very much in that whole Greek Trojan vibe of like the helmet, the way they're put up as they're set around the place. There's specifically a set of four, so two on one side, two on right side. That just nice symmetry and whatnot. Then just kind of reminds you of home a bit, I guess. And I think dwelling on this moment, you see your wife fade in. Oh, my love. How much longer? I don't want to throw you in front of a bus again.
It's so close. It's at hand. I've not felt any closer than I do right now. Finally, my penance will be paid. Honestly, paid tenfold at this point.
Cannot wait as you see they get closer and sultry. Feel the warmth of you again. To feel that thing that we shared, our love.
I know. I know I failed you both, and I won't fail again. We will have eternity. You, me, the Stianax. Eternity. In Elysium, where we belong. All three of us.
My love,
Not just I alone in its halls. All three of us.
Are you fine with three of us?
Of course. Of course I'll be fine.
Don't lie, Hector. I saw the way you looked at the way you saddled up, gave a blessing.
Calmness, blessing, my love. I'll never see these people again. And Mallory, she's clearly had a hard life. Thought a blessing for a goodbye was more than fair. Where's this coming from?
You always wanted another child. You just never got the chance. And I know you see it as a failure. It clouds your judgment, my love, as they back away. Turning cold now.
Dramaki, please. There's no need for this. There's absolutely no need for this. Of course I wanted another child. Of course I wanted more for the two of us. But our fates were not such. All I want now is you, CNX, and I to share the glory that we were promised, that we are owed in Elysium. You, CNX, and I. There's no greater happiness.
Then stop wasting time. As you see they disappear into the shadows. And in
CNX.
this moment, you feel a shiver down your spine. It is unnatural. Do you follow the source of this fear?
Of course I do. I'm a warrior with trained instinct. If I feel wrong, then I must listen.
Then I need you to face danger for me, my boy.
Rot roll, okay.
Hold on, what the fuck?
Hey, you calm down. Calm down. Doesn't have to be physical. It's not always physical. It's facing a danger. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Physical is almost the least of my worries. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
I will say
Right.
-1 for plagued by regrets for reasons. So please do.
Great. Great. I will invoke Poise Amidst Doom. I will invoke, well, I can't invoke that anymore.
It's Commander.
It's burn. I will invoke Bring Glory to Troy, because I'm here amongst familiar things, and I'm so close to bringing glory to Troy by reuniting with my family. And that's about it, really.
So +1 then.
+1. Thank God. That's a 7 exactly. I rolled a 6 at the time.
7 to 9, you take a status with a -1 tier. Miss, you take the full status. So for you, my lovely, lovely boy,
Yeah.
I'm going to say,
I'm running out of spaces for tags that you want to
I'm
throw at
running
me.
Don't worry about it. I'll say for this moment here, you can take a status, we'll call it 2,
Mm-hmm.
and let's call it shook.
Okay. I'll be normal about that.
You turn your head, following it, and you can see that on the second floor, with the cathedral light basking in its light, not really able to see this person, but you swear, and I mean, you swear by your eyesight in the silhouette, it's your wife.
Rocky.
But as you do, you snap out of it.
Rocky.
As going through, you see one of the nearby people, one of the funeral organizers here, kind of go, hey everyone, the funeral's about to begin. If you could please take your seats. We are about to begin saying words and whatnot. Please take your seat.
I don't see head or tail this person anymore, right? It's just a glimpse.
You,
right?
like that, the music comes in, you divert your focus, look back, nothing there.
Hector returns to keeping an eye out of everything, shook and distracted.
I think a
Almost.
whistle, just a very subtle one, like someone whistling for a horse, carries over the crowd just a little.
Hector follows it.
And Merrick is moving with the crowd, I'm sure.
Yeah, are you guys gonna sit? So, you can sit wherever you please. Dolph seems to be sitting near the front as he has to give a speech. So, are you guys first off sitting or are you standing? Are you gonna be like in the, sitting down, or are you gonna be more security standing up?
I think Hector's gonna stand.
Yeah, Merrick is gonna stand.
Oh, the men are gonna stand.
For my purposes here,
Mallory's sitting.
Mallory's sitting. Where
As
are you
she
sitting,
should.
Mallory?
Where are you sitting though?
Where are you sitting, Mallory? Where? There's like two. It's very much like how one big, there's two kind of big. I don't want to say boxes in a sense of like the way there's an aisle for you to walk through instead of two big sides here. I would say Dolph is kind of like right side up, so he's like right up in the front there. So that's where he is.
Maybe like a pew behind.
Okay, so pew behind. For my other two that are standing, are you standing on either side, or are you standing more on the side he is?
Because Merrick was like at Duff's side, going up to the front, I think he just kind of becomes one with the wall and, just leans there trying to be not important. There are too many people who have looked at him today already.
So which is it, the wall
right
closest
side.
to Toth, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Then Hector will take the other so that I'm the eye on the other side of the room. That makes most sense. Probably closer towards the back even, so that I see entrance and exit.
Yeah. You see they are closing the front main entrance, so, quiet and whatnot. the very security checks of, this is Blue Leader checking in. Yeah, Blue Leader checking in. This is Blue 2 checking in. Blue 3 checking in. Yeah, Blue 3 checking in. And sort of doing the various checks. Your guys' codes come up. You give your checks. And at this moment, everybody kind of sits down. And at this point, the music kind of stops for a moment. And Thoth gets up and approaches the mic, kind of. Hi, hello everyone. Thank you for coming out today. I know funerals are a sad affair, but I like to think of them, and especially with my pantheon, it is just another journey on a long stretch of paths that are before us. We are here today for two lovely members of the communities that we lost, with our late Mayor Frey and a friend to us all in the deepest and darkest of times, even me included. They remind us, as you see, he kind of begins to pull out his paper and starts reading, what is so special about our community. We have seen it all, folks. Wars, the rise and falls of empires, and well, the fair share of drunken mishaps with the Minotaur, with a parking ticket. Everybody kind of laughs. But in all seriousness, we founded this city as a haven for us. It has been quite difficult time for us. Murder, no less, is hard on all of us. But I think we have shown together that we have done great in coming together as a community. And I would like to say no and thanks to the Doomsayers who have put themselves on the line to protect us. You kind of gesture to all of you. I know it's a funeral, but I think a round of applause for them. As you see, there's a slight applause. They are what makes this city great. They are individuals from backgrounds that have had problems with divinity, but through it all, they understand the importance of what it means to have a god among us and to follow it. And I swear, as a representative for the Seer Tribunal, we will continue to uphold that relevance. Not only just for the safety of our community, but also for them, as he points to the cast, who gave their lives for us and this city. Not too good with words, but I'm told there's a special movie that was put together to commemorate the life of these two heroes. So I'll shut up now, and let's get the movie going. And with that, you see the lights begin to dim.
Oh, they really dimmed. Howdy, folks. We're having a minor technical difficulty as the lights dimmed. Give us just a moment. Yeah.
The timing was honestly terrifying.
Uh,
Terrifying timing.
I think it's my Wi-Fi.
We're back.
My Wi-Fi.
There we go. There he
Your
is.
Wi-Fi said the lights go down.
Yeah, it was like lights go down.
It said,
Bet.
oh, okay.
Forgive me, folks. My internet. I'm not gonna call it trash. I'm just gonna call it. It's thematically
Thematically
challenged.
aligned.
Yeah, thematically aligned. But with that, the sound of eagles and that good old American salute begins to play as the camera dies down, begins to spur, and you hear the voice of a majestic voice of Mayor Frey, hero, activist, father, as it goes to various images of him going through his life. Mayor Frey gave his life for New Promethea. He has been there since the conception of time. When justice was demanded, he was at the gavel. When aid was needed, he formed the Olympia Fund. And when the Doomsayers were needed, he made sure they had the tools they needed before to get the job done. We will miss you, Mayor Frey. Through the laughs, images of him laughing. Through the tear, him consoling a person. And through the great time, as it shows him cutting a ribbon. Mayor Frey, a hero to us all. And in that moment, the film begins to burn. And a loud, echoing voice begins to fill the room. And on the screen is no longer this video, but a pair of red, smoky eyes. Hero. Is that what we call it? I call it murderer. You see, Dove kind of looks over to you guys and just like, in this instance, as this is playing, are you doing anything? Or are you listening?
Hector has a spear out of his throat. Because he's already on edge, unnerved. He immediately pulls the golden spear out of his throat, manifests it into this reality, and begins kind of like he's listening, he's waiting, but he's got the spear almost in a javelin grip, ready to toss it if anything were to approach Tove.
Fantastic. My other two, what are you doing? Mallory and Merrick?
Mallory is going to, if I may, kind of activate her sorry didn't see you there and become fairly unnoticeable to everyone as she kind of gets up and moves up towards where that is something I can do.
Fantastic. Where are you going again? Are you just gonna
Up
hide
to where
or...
up to where he is, just kind of like more like closer to him, but nobody really like perceives her.
Gotcha,
Maybe the other
gotcha.
Doomsayers do, but like
It is
not
dark in here, so
nobody else.
yeah, no problem.
Oh,
You could
never
have,
mind.
like,
Then, yeah, nobody sees her.
at this point, Merrick, what about you?
The moment that the film cuts and the vibe shifts, I think Merrick hears the voice as he goes to kind of step more forward to see the projector, and on instinct begins to sniff the air.
For curiosity's sake, just for me, I'll just play around a little bit. I'm gonna roll a real quick,
Scary.
dice. So I need
This is terrifying.
an even or odd for me, please.
I'm gonna go with even.
Even. The smell is unfamiliar to you. It is smoky, sulfury, but it's something that burns your nose that I think you have to cover it at this point of how bad it is. But with it, the voice begins. Ask yourself, has a hero ever inflicted pain? Have they even felt pain? And I'm not talking the kind that you get physically, but the one that affects the soul of a person. That pain is what these so-called heroes cause, as they are monsters and villains preying on you for their own vile purposes. And you see the film starts up and begins to play footage of Frey and his conversation that he had with Apollo, along with images of him taking bribes, of notes dedicated to funds from the Olympia Fund being diverted elsewhere. Prey destroyed and imprisoned lives. Political opponents, no problem with a swift of his hand, arrested for some crime. Some mayor. And don't even get me started on Inku as it chants over to your friend. Signing off on these checks, diverting funds and images of them on a tribunal judging people in the 60s. They throw innocence just as likely. Though, at least for them, a god of death killing people isn't that far-fetched of an idea. All in pretend to build this better tomorrow. And it cuts to those eyes again. They were not the only accomplices in robbing the city of its hopes and dreams. There was Apollo, there was Artemis, and Katrina, who used their powers and made fate their own, tried to control it like they have the right. But fate isn't something you can control. The lives of its citizens are not something to be gambled with. But soon you will remember what real power looks like. You have forgotten what fear feels like. What death feels like. But when I'm done, you will remember their scream. And at this moment, you see the lights turn on and something from the rooftop from 3 chains hooked onto it comes. And at this point, you hear a scream come from the room as you see the torn up and bruised bodies of Apollo, Artemis, and Katrina dead and hanging off of spiked meat hook dangling. And written across all of them in paint and also seared into the flesh is remember fear. At this moment, on the sides, the statues, as you see seeps that were in between begin to glow bright red. Their eyes begin to glow that same mist, and at this point they begin to and begin to form phalanx. What are you guys doing in this moment?
Immediately, Hector is on the communications thing, and he does not know codes. He just presses onto it and just says, "Get Toth out of here!" And then we'll start rushing forward. Summons his shield towards where Toth is, so he can form a flank against the phalanxes of these creatures.
Fantastic. I'm gonna need you to give me toe-to-toe, please.
Yes. I will invoke Dominant Duelist, Agile Hoplite, Spearmanship, Venerated Protector. Yeah, that's about... And Wrathful Spear.
Fantastic. Please give me those there. For my other two, as you're rolling that, my other two, what are you doing?
I mean, Merrick goes running. He was like, I think, at eye even with the screen when everything started to go sideways, and I think watched a lot of it. But the moment that he heard something come crashing from the ceiling, kind of ran, like probably right past Mallory, towards those. Basically, like can spot Hector a mile away because spears are not subtle.
Oh, no.
And I think like jumps and even like jumps between people still seated and like people kind of freaking out across the backs of the pews to kind of join Hector, and as he does, I'm going to use one of my new improvements. He reaches behind him, and again, that golden miasma, he pulls from it a shimmering, semi-corporeal spear. And I'm going to also then bring forward that shield, and we see fully armed in the arms of Achilles. Patroclus runs across the backs of the seats towards Hector to join him to defend against these beings.
Fantastic. Toe-to-toe for you. Val, do you keep yours in mind? I'm just going to go through Mallory, and then I'll go through everything. So, Mallory, what are you doing in this instance? As two of your friends immediately go off to sort of, at this point, play quarterback at this point of just defense, protecting. What are you doing at this time? As Thoth is kind of getting up, there is a panic in the crowd as everybody's beginning to get up, trying to find a way out of here. So what are you doing at this moment?
Mallory's going to first try to identify the fastest and safest path out for Tolf, and then proceed to guide him. Hopefully using spectral movement.
Yeah, I think at this point, I think this is
fine.
going to be change the game because you're trying to give yourself an advantage here. So you got to get some juice here. So roll for me, if you will, that. And then I'll get back to you. So roll do your stuff there, and I'm going to go through these guys here. So with that, Val, what'd you get here, buddy?
I got a 12.
Got a 12. Look at you go there, kiddo.
Let's go!
Right,
I'm good at a few things.
Yeah, so how you, on a 10 plus, you get to choose 2 of these. We're playing City of Mist, folks. I always have to remind people. There's always questions. But City of Mist, you get to either manage or achieve your goal. You get them good, you give your opponents a status or tier, or you block, dodge, or counter their moves. So what do you want to do here? You get 2 of these.
I want to block or counter their moves, and I want to be, the first one, I want to achieve what I want to achieve, which is guard Toth. He's the way that Hector's doing it, he's got his spear out, basically out ready to parry or block any incoming attacks, but the shield is mostly on his own body blocking Toth, so that he's maintaining this almost fortress-like wall around them.
Yeah, and I think with that, you prepared yourself. You see these 2 soldiers at the side begin to form a formation, and in your mind, almost like it's been a long, long time, you notice something. They're using Trojan tactics. As you see there, going in, you're able to block as you have fought these men before, and as you manage to block them all. As that is going on there, what did you get, Merrick?
So I was rolling with famously ill-fated, star-adorned bronze shield, guardian of the devoted, rotten worm, Myrmidon armaments, my new one, and sated by heroic deeds, and I imposed incomplete without him because I missed my boy. But
so sad.
At a plus 5 and rolling a 9 on the dice, that makes it a 14.
All right,
Let's
same
go.
thing to you. What are you doing?
I think as he runs across the backs of the chairs, he jumps down next to Hector, and this is familiar to him.
Mhm.
These movements, this
Yeah.
structure of war, and I think his goal is to stop them from pressing forward.
Mhm.
And so I will take manage to achieve your goal, and then block, dodge, or counter their best attempts, basically making it so that they cannot get through this wall of ancient heroes.
Mhm.
Fantastic. With that, almost like at you two back to back, forming up this wall at this point, you see on the other side from where you were at, Merrick, the individuals that come at you dress slightly differently and attack like Greeks. As you see they going for you.
What kind of sick joke is this?
I think Merrick parries away a strike with the shield, and that muscle memory of spending all of his waking moments from when he was 10 and onward among the Myrmidons begins to come back to him. And it pushes him harder. It doesn't phase him yet. because this is a dance he knows.
Fantastic. Mallory, what did you get on your roll here?
So I invoked spectral movement.
Mm-hmm.
Leave the light on because now she's worried about her kid.
Mhm.
Sorry, didn't see you there, and yeah, that's what I invoked, and then I rolled a 9.
All right.
So that's 13.
13. So you use 3, so you get 3 juice here on your bad boy rolls. So you can use them to, I'm sorry, you said 13, never mind. You get a minimum of 2, you had 3 anyway, so. You can do a bunch of stuff, so create story tags, burn, reduce status, but for the main point of what's going on here to help you out, you have that juice to spend, but with that, you're able to grab Dolph, and he's kind of like, the kitchen, it's that way, we gotta go.
Let's go.
Fantastic.
And we'll grab him and take him into the kind of in between for a moment to get him there faster and without being detected.
I will say, as you go in the in-between, you thread that veil of life and death. As you can see the various souls and pinging off energy off of everyone. Everyone has something, but the individuals that are attacking are almost like they are on fire in this instant. As you see these bright red flames of individuals on fire attacking in this instance, as you are running towards the kitchen.
Yeah, she'll like make note of that, but then just like she's just focused on getting him out, and then she'll see what she can do to help after. But yeah, that's something she hasn't seen before.
Fantastic. So with that, at that point, you see these men speaking in Greek, but there is something weird to it that you can't track down, which makes it hard to interpret, but you notice that they begin to adapt to your move. Almost like if on command, they work together and form their own phalanx around you, Merrick and Hector, as you see another one jumps closer to Mallory trying to catch. At this point, what are you guys doing?
I am cutting down the one that's going after Mallory. I think Hector holds up his spear like a javelin and throws it at the particular warrior aiming for Mallory, trying to cut him down. So
Okay.
my back is exposed, trusting Marek to have it.
Lovely, lovely. It's going to be a -2 to whatever you roll.
Great.
And they are adapting.
Great. Wonderful. I will invoke Dominant Duelist, Poised Amidst Doom, Agile Hoplite. This is funny because under my training logos, it says even 20 hectares will fall by my spear. Venerated Protector. That's for all you Iliad folks out there. Spearmanship, Wrathful Spear. So that's 6. Yeah. Oh, bring glory to Troy. Let's go. That's 7.
Lovely, lovely. Let's do it. -2.
I will invoke Precious Lamb to Slaughter.
So -3. And don't forget, you can always burn attack for a straight up 10 plus.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to that just in case.
Hey, look at that tag. Look at Bert. Come on.
Hey, come on. So that's a
Come
plus
on, hey.
4 total that I need to do. Okay. Ooh, that's nice. 14.
All right. With that 14, what are you doing in this instance? What do you want to do?
Hector blocks off a few of the we're being attacked by both, right? Greek and Trojan attacks, and then leans back towards where Mallory's gone, sees this one individual moving, throws this golden spear, and what I'm hoping to do if I don't cut down this guy immediately is like hold and pin him down.
Yeah, very much. You go spear up. You as you see, it begins to drip lava from it. Luckily, your spear is, magical in nature, so it's not instantly burning. But with that Mallory, you were just by a half second, you see this creature almost grab onto you as it gets impaled, providing you room to go through.
Hector gives you a look that he's got you.
Lovely, lovely. I think in this instance, Mallory, you're able to get through into the kitchen. So for the moment, I think you're clear at the moment as you just got some passage time save, making your way to the kitchen. Merrick, and Hector. I'll do Merrick and then Hector, but you guys see at this point they're making their way towards the exit where the car is. And you can hear over the radio the guys are like, "We'll put a car around the back! Get to the back!"
Merrick is beginning to lose the plot. These soldiers, these warriors, this little slice of home wears at the frayed edges that keep him bound together. And that glint of wolf gold in his eyes shows as the spear vanishes back into miasma, and instead elongated red claws emerge as he wants to know what these warriors are really made of, since their spears are made of lava. And Merrick is going to charge at them to try and pull and rip any threads of fate that he can get his claws into.
Face danger for me, please.
Yeah. I'm going to use Rage Against Destiny, Voyager of the Underworld, Carrion Dog, Guardian of the Devoted, Rot in War, and Hunger for Scraps of Destiny. And Chris, I'd like to do something a little strange.
Okay, all right.
I have a new improvement,
Okay.
specifically on my adaptation mythos,
All right.
Buried in Glory, that says tap into the source. Once per session, you get a free batch of 2 juice when a method that relates to this theme and circumstance of the current scene. So I'd like to pull the threads or any sort of fate material out of this for juice as I attack.
Fantastic. -2 as they are adapted to your tactics, yeah?
Sure. Oof, okay. Oh, that's a 9.
It's a 9, just there. So with 9, you take a status, but a -1 tier. I'm going to switch it up for here in this instance, and I'm going to say you are able to go in, grab, and touch them. But as you do, they touch you right back, and I'm going to need you to burn a tag here. I'm going to say they are going to burn Literate to the Threads of Fate.
Oof.
As you come on in, they grab, touch your hand, and you react. Though it shouldn't be possible, but as they do touch, you go through grabbing, and it is like goo in this sense, or a ball of yarn, as you see that the threads of all these individuals are burned, charred, screaming, but are connecting to something bigger.
I picture it almost like his hand getting stuck in a web for a moment. But as he tries to pull through, it isn't web, it isn't real thread. It's also burning hot. And it's like grabbing napalm. And that like burning sensation, he yells at the top of his lungs loud enough to echo over everything in here for a moment. And I think he's like smoking and smoldering as he lands after dragging his claws through this visible, not visible, ethereal knot.
Patroclus! Ah! Get behind me! And Hector will step forward.
At this moment, luck saves you as you see the various security guards coming down. Give him luck! As you see, and their attention begins to shift away from you towards these individuals as bullets are hitting stone, giving you guys enough time to back out of there and toward the kitchen.
Hector lifts you under the arm. He does not give a shit about whether you like this or not. Holds your arm over his shoulder and just begins holding his shield up, carrying you over, like shoulder to shoulder, over towards the exit as quickly as we can.
Just a funeral, right?
If we were only so lucky.
Fantastic. At this point, all of you three meet up. Mallory, you see the individuals are damaged here, but at this point, you see Delph kind of go, the car, it's over here, come on.
Let's go.
Fantastic. All of you are going through?
Mm-hmm.
What's Hector's going? I can't exactly fight him right now.
No, you can't. No, you're being
over here, boy.
hauled. You're being hauled by Hector, and I think as he arrives, you hear the clanging of the metal of his shield hitting walls, hitting stone. And as soon as y'all are in the car, he basically tosses Marek into the car. Who? We gotta go.
Good.
And I will obviously grab my spear along the way.
I will say, driver's not here, so very curious question: who wants to drive the car?
I guess I'm driving. Hector
Okay.
jumps into the
Terrifying, terrifying.
Get in the black SUV. Get in the side. Merrick, you're in the sort of the front, I would say, and with that, everybody else gets the back. With that, you turn the car on. Not really sure how to drive, but seen it in the movies, and just press on the gas as you.
It's close enough to my car.
Yeah.
Sure.
So with that, you begin to just go in the street, going off. At this point, Dolph is like, "What the hell is that?"
I was hoping you would tell us.
What the fuck? And as Merrick leans forward, he's pulling a cigarette out of his jacket already,
Oh my god.
and he's lighting it with his smoldering hand before putting it on his lips. Those were fucking Greeks. What the fuck is this?
And Trojans. And he's like swinging at the car, getting onto the highway.
You see them kind of go, no, that's impossible. That's impossible. That's
I know
impossible."
how Trojans fight. Those were Trojans. Through and through, not imitations.
It must have been a trick of your eye, or your wife in your head or something. I don't know.
Hector
They
turns
were real.
around, still driving, and it's just like, no. And then I think it's like there's a moment where maybe someone from the side sees like, look out, and he spins back onto the main
fucking.
road.
With that, I think as you're driving through, at this point, getting onto the bridge, going through, you see them go, "I'm telling you, it's impossible. They're not supposed to be here."
Then where the fuck are they supposed to be?
I would just, crap, look out! And at this point,
Fuck!
you see something come in the middle of the road, hit the car. As you see, out of nowhere, a spear, lava red, bright, hits into the ground. You try to swerve out the way, Hector, but you hit dead on. As you skid, all of you boggled-minded at the moment. Unconscious for a hot second. I think, Mallory, you're the first one to kind of get up in this instance, as you're upside down at the moment. And as you're sort of kind of getting consciousness, you see something to make its footsteps towards the car. You see that every step it takes leaves a smolder on the ground. Going towards Thoth, you see grabs the door, throws it away, and then proceeds to take the god with him. What are you doing in this instance?
She will attempt to pull out her gun. That's kind of all she's got. And she definitely brought it with her. So she's gonna attempt to pull that out, and I don't know if she's like trying to buckle herself or like use it at the same time. I don't know, but she's gonna try to stop this guy.
Yeah.
Or this
I
person,
think-
this thing.
Face danger for me, please. I think. As you're unbuckling yourself, you're getting up. I'll describe what you see in a second.
I would like to invoke emotionally stable. They're my world. And that's really all I got from this.
You also have juice from before.
You do have
Oh,
juice.
right, I
too,
have
if you wanna do
juice.
something with it.
Juice.
Yeah, I
juice.
would like
got
to
the
use
juice.
juice. How do I do that? Is that just a +1 or?
You can do +1 to your stuff as well, and it can sort of bump up effects or debuff effects somebody. So it's kind of like,
However
you want to use that in this instance.
Okay, that is a 10, so +2.
12.
Since it's a 12, I think I'll hold. Can I hold on to the juice?
Oh, okay, you can hold on the juice. I hold the juice.
Hold the
As
juice.
you
Hold the juice.
unplug yourself, get out the car. The rest of you are kind of getting up. You see before you a horrifying sight. Their skin is like obsidian, with cracks of lava in between. Their armor a mesh of Trojan and Greek. Trojan bits being the helmet and spear along their back. You think the Greek parts, the armor and bow, but you don't see their face. You only see the smoke that comes from their cape behind them and seeps from their eye socket. Like weeping lava falls as their eyes go up. A lit in flame bright hatred. Pulling up your gun, I'm assuming you take your shot. It begins to melt. It gives you a look and then back to Toph. Do you hear their screams? And with it, begins to absorbs the life out of Thoth. His soul first, then his skin begins to alight on fire as you hear his screams, as he begins to burn and charcoal like meat left on the grill. Before he drops the individual as they fall to the ground and break. This individual and looks towards you, Mallory. Your gun doesn't work and they get closer and closer to you. What are you doing?
What you see is Mallory backing up, kind of like towards the car. I think she kind of like stumbles and falls and is backing up towards the car. But that is what you see, because she is going to use what remains as a shadow, and she is actually going into the in-between and leaving a shadow behind that looks like her to try to maneuver somewhere else.
I will say that is what you attempt to do as you go in the in-between and they catch you right before you leave, leaving you in between this world and the next, looking you in the eyes. But you're lucky as something comes at a fast pace and hits this individual across, pushing them off. As you see Ricky punches off and sort of, I'm gonna need you to back away. At this instance, Merrick, you're the next one to get up here. As you see this individual on the side in this weird looking way. You got a shot. You can throw your spear at this thing and won't know. Maybe you could take it down. Maybe you can deal with this. What do you want to do?
Merrick, who I think is like splayed out on the concrete, having crashed through the windshield because he was just thrown in the seat and never put on his seatbelt, kind of pulls himself upright, almost looking a little ragdolly for a moment before he stands up the rest of the way, squares his shoulders, and he's fine because he's been undead for a very long time. And instead of throwing a spear, because this looks like a formidable warrior, he's going to do what he just did. And he's going to lean more into his lineage gifted to him by King Lycan. And he is going to lean forward and run as fast as he can to try and tackle and rend and bite this figure. If they can devour, so can he.
Do me a quick face danger here.
Rage Against Destiny, Voyager of the Underworld, Carrion Dog.
I will say -3 for a very
Jesus.
specific reason.
Cool. Rot in War, Guardian of the Devoted, Hunger for Scraps of Destiny, -3. So that's +3 total. That is a 10.
Let's go.
10. With that, you go in. You don't necessarily tackle him on the ground, but you do notice that you're kind of evenly matched. It looks at you, tilting its head, and you hear something strange come out of its mouth that disarms you just for a moment. You have gotten weak, my love. As you see, they take you, and in that same way he always does, when pushing you off to the side, jumps on one card, jumps on another, and Batman-like glides off the bridge.
Achilles.
Hector, you begin to make your way up.
He was at the driver's seat, and I think he like pushes past the airbag, breaks out the door, stumbles out, spear in hand, ready to toss it, sees the charred remains of Toth. Mallory shook, and Marek on their knees, on his knees.
But it doesn't matter. You got a shot, I think, if you want to throw that spear.
I can see him. Great, I'm taking a shot.
Marek, what are you doing as you see he's about to throw a spear up the individual?
The moment he gets his wits back, tears, he doesn't even know when they started, streaming down his face. He gets up and he turns to face Hector with the fury that he's been holding back since this all began, and he is going to try and impede Hector's throw.
I will say at this
Great.
moment, you have a bit of a struggle. I'm not going to roll anything here for story purposes, but as that's going on, Mallory, you see Ricky kind of look
Marek,
over you.
what are you doing?
No!
What? Like Hector is surprised, and I think you impede him, causing the spear to move past his thumb, and he just ends up like tumbling for a bit and has to use the spear to hold himself up. I had a shot.
You would have to kill me before I'd let you make that throw.
And he sees it. No. No.
Merrick stands up straight. He takes up as much room as he can.
He's not. Hector grips onto the spear like it's his walking stick. You know what he just did. What he has cost us.
It changes nothing!
It changes nothing. You know exactly what they'll ask of us.
What do they do? Throw me. Go be with your family.
I can't! Do you think if I could be with my family, I would already be there? My family walks in asphodel, far away from me. I am
And they love
Elysium
you!
bound. And yet
That's
they are
all
a
I
part
have.
of me.
He's all.
And my family's all I have. All I've worked for all these centuries. You know this path I walk. pulls the spear out of the rocket cement, and it dissipates from his hands, and it glows on his throat. You both have taken enough from me. Both of you.
As that settles over there, over to you, Mallory. You see Ricky kind of tired, slight burned at the fingertips, comes over to you. Hey, you alright?
Mallory, to put it simply, looks like a ghost. While she is pale, she looks almost translucent right now. She doesn't do well with getting disrupted when moving through the in-between. So she's struggling actually to fully return. I was gonna tell you if you wanted to use lost between on me, could for anything, but that would have definitely triggered that being interrupted in that way while trying to move. And I think she has at this point, in just watching everything, just sort of like dropped to her knees in the street, and she's aware of everything, but she's kind of like seeing nothing. She is just fighting so hard to like stay in one place.
Ricky kind of, at this point, kneels down. In times like this, you gotta breathe. So, inhale. And exhale.
Oh, God.
Come on.
Doing here? What are you doing here?
It wouldn't be right with my conscience if I just left you for that thing.
What was that? Are you okay? And like kind of like looks at his fingers, and I think when she does, she starts to kind of like become more solid. When she kind of like notices his injuries.
I'll live. It's just a burn on the fingertips. I don't know what it is, but I do know it's your killer. And I think I do know where we can find out exactly what it is and where it came from. But you're gonna have to trust me. And I know it's been a bit difficult nowadays. We don't have to like each other, but we both want the same thing, man.
You want?
You and the kid safe is all I ever wanted.
I think at that her eyebrows like raise, and she, Enid, Weenie, did he know? We have to get back. We have to get back to the.
We'll get back.
And starts to kind of like stand, and she's kind of like stumbling, a little kind of under. She's like, get back to, we have to go. We have to get back. I need to check on him.
And at that point, time moves forward. As you all find yourselves, your son is safe in your hands. The reports go across the entirety of the city that the killer is still loose. And we cut to one last scene where none of you are. An abandoned building in which that figure lands on the ground and throws an industrial piece. You hear a voice from behind of Orpheus. Not as easy as it looks, huh? Who are you? Orpheus. I know what you are. I know what you want. So, in the Greek manner, let's negotiate. Why would we ever negotiate with a god? I'm not a god. I hate him just as much as you do. And together, as they stand face to face with each other, we can burn this city to the ground. And that is why we shall end our episode for today. Yay! Yay, everyone! Thank you for joining us for another wonderful episode of the Doomsayers. With that in mind, we're going to do plugs in reverse order here while their brains are still functioning. So with that, Hector, Val, please, outro and where people can find you.
Sure thing. Hello, everybody. My name is Valiant Dorian. I use him, his pronouns. You can find me all on the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otto Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt to say on. Tonight, I have the distinct pleasure of playing Prince Hector, Hector of Troy, Breaker of Horses, who also uses he, him pronouns. Just where you can find me. You can find me back on Transplater RPG next Saturday for the premiere of Arc 3. You get to see me in all of my doomed boy glory with Sayer. Please come and check us out. It's gonna be great. Arc 3 is gonna be wonderful, and you'll be able to see me back here next Sunday also. For more stuff, you can also check out my game if you like all the feral energy that Merrick's got going on. You can go check out my game called The Beast Within, now available on spiritbeargames.itch.io. Go ahead and check that out, and follow me on socials now that Twitter is dying. Actually, go follow me on Blue Sky, maybe. All right, I'm gonna pass it on over to my favorite mom of the hour, Mallory. Go on ahead.
Oh, hello. Hi, I'm Calamity. I played Mallory today. You can find me all over the internet as Hey Calamity with 3 Y's at the end. I do a bunch of different stuff. If you want to keep up with me, definitely keep an eye on my socials, mostly Blue Sky and Threads. But you can definitely find me here on Sundays in this incredible story. That is just so, I'm such an honor to be part of. I am otherwise shook and don't remember anything else about myself. How about you, Kai? Do you remember anything about now?
I'm radiating with emotions, honestly. Hi everyone, I'm Kai. You can find me everywhere as a style of Imladris. You can find me tomorrow over on Happy Jack's RPG on the what is probably the penultimate episode of Outrunners, which is the Starscape actual play series. This is why you keep a calendar, folks, so that when your brain is deep fried, you can still plug things. You can find me on Thursdays over on Bathouse RPG in Son in Chains, which is a Tales of Valiant series where I'm playing a horrible warlock man. And then, like Val, you can find me on Saturday with the premiere of Arc 3 of the Chaos Protocol, where I'm back playing everyone's sad pop who's having a time over with Mr. Zanin Esh on the Chaos Protocol on Saturday, and then back here, probably crying. Positive. On Sunday, where Chris will continue to do deep, promised emotional trauma to all of his players.
Hello, I was the guy that was committing trauma, as is my name. My name is Chris, and I was your humble MC for these preceding evenings. With that, you can find me on the Twitter at VO_Cologne, that's COLON, while it's still alive. And in terms of shows, of course, we have our lovely Doomsayers here on Sundays at 5 p.m.